Today, on Starfield Essentials, I review a creation that got a major expansion, and if you already bought it, you got the new content free. This is Trackers Alliance, the complete bounty series by Bethesda Game Studios, available for 700 credits on creations. I'll give an overview, warnings, my conclusion, and bonus gameplay spoilers. My name is Richard. Let's get started. Overview. Trackers Alliance is an achievement-friendly creation, if that matters to you. Bethesda first released this content in June 2024. In that update, Starfield added the Trackers Alliance as a formal organization that the player could join. The first mission was the Starjacker. This was free with the game update. The second mission, the Vulture, was the previous content for the creation I'm discussing today. In other words, before this update, you paid 700 credits and got only one more mission, the Vulture. Understandably, many players skipped this content. I bought it back then mainly to get access to the rifle that is a reward for completing the main quest. So, what do you get with the updated Complete Bounty series? This creation adds 5 more bounty missions. To unlock them, you have to complete the Starjacker mission for the Trackers Alliance. After that, you're able to complete the next 6 in any order, but I will make recommendations on that in this video. Remember, this creation now has 6 missions, the original Vulture plus 5 new ones. I'll say a little about each, described in the order I played them. The Vulture. In this mission, the Freestar government wants the Tracker to bring in a mercenary known as the Vulture. They perceive this individual as a national security threat. This is a straightforward mission that involves a fair amount of combat. In the spoiler section, I'll give some advice that will open more gameplay options if you choose to follow it. Return of the Starjacker. In this mission, you get a chance to pursue Hannibal Eutropio, the target of the original Starjacker quest. This was one of my favorite quests in the updated creation. In the warning section, I'll give some advice on avoiding possible technical and gameplay issues. This mission is a mix of combat and skill. There are opportunities to give assistance to other NPCs you encounter in this scenario. Depending on how you act, this can pay off in the end. There's also the possibility to resolve the ultimate challenge in a peaceful manner, which I greatly appreciated. Seokguh Oni. In this mission, New Atlantis Security wants the Tracker to hunt down a Seokguh lieutenant named Riku Okada. Oni apparently means demon or ogre in Japanese, in case you're wondering about the quest name. At first glance, this appeared to be a fairly straightforward assignment. However, the choices you make in the Vulture quest directly influence what happens in this quest. I'll say more in the spoiler section. This is another straightforward clear the dungeon quest, but the ending has some wrinkles that make it more interesting. I'll show a couple variations in the spoilers. The additional content and the player home you get make this an above-average mission. The Lovers. This mission requires the Tracker to find Booker Prentice and Celia Bastos, a pair of notorious robbers who are a couple. This is a fairly linear mission that basically involves finding the pair and battling their soldiers along the way. There's an opportunity to act in a corrupt manner, but there wasn't much to this quest. It's possible I played it too straight and missed some content. I'll show how I handled it in the spoilers. The Fallen Hero. Of all the missions, this is probably the one that will get the most buzz. In this quest, the Tracker must hunt down a person posing as the Mantis. What? That's right, there's a second Mantis in the settled systems. This one is pursuing bounties without authorization, abusing targets, executing those awaiting trial, and otherwise acting outside the law. What can I say about this mission? It's way beyond what I expected for the task. I bet this will be the favorite quest for most players. It indulges in mind-bending and creative callbacks to previous content. It offers puzzles, combat, disorienting visuals and gameplay, and a compelling villain. During the mission, I also had to compete in space and on the ground with ecliptic mercenaries who wanted the same bounty. This would have made a fun mechanic for other missions, but I didn't see it. I'll try to capture a bit of this quest in the spoilers. The Widow. In this mission, Neon Security hires the Tracker to find a person calling herself the Widow. I originally tried this as my first quest after the Vulture. Due to technical issues that I will explain in the warning section, I ended up playing it last. I really like this mission because there are two distinct ways to solve it. It involves reusing, so you might have guessed that stealth could play a role in resolving the mystery. That's completely true. In my first attempt, I went in guns blazing. In my second attempt, I tried stealth. I recommend the second method if you can accomplish it. I'll show a bit of each in the spoilers. Next, warnings. I have several suggestions to make it easier for you to play this creation. First, if you have the creation called Sammy and the Lab of Nightmares installed, you must disable it before starting the Widow mission. If you have Sammy enabled, you'll not be able to interact with the computer at the beginning of the quest. That blocks all progress. Moving Sammy to the top of your load order will not help either. I received reports from several of you that Sammy has caused problems with other mods as well. I tried reaching out to Sammy's creator, Adam Dunmer, via the Nexus Mods messaging system, but I haven't heard anything back. I used Nexus Mods because I did not see another way to contact him. Second, if you have Xeno Master installed, you'll likely encounter a problem with the Return of the Starjacker quest. In order to enter the facility in that mission, you'll have to place all your weapons and gear in a storage container. It's not possible to remove Xeno Master in this manner. However, Ghost Rider 231 published a video showing how to use native Xeno Master functionality to remove the Xeno Master device from the player's inventory. I'll link that video in the description below. Third, as you've seen in my videos, I always play with several companions. These are a mix of standard NPCs, like Vasco, although modified with the alternate Vasco mod, NPCs from mods, like Lyria or Astrid, and NPCs I've added to my party using the multi-tool axe. Some of these may subtly break the intended gameplay. For example, in Return of the Starjacker, I don't think I was supposed to have access to my companion's equipment. This made it much easier to progress through the mission. I probably should have repeated the mission without the unexpected assistance, but there was still plenty of content to enjoy. My overall warning would be to keep a lot of saves handy. Several times during these quests, I rolled back to try different outcomes, and they were all fun. Conclusion. Is this creation worth 700 credits? Looking at the time value, it took me about 7 hours to complete all 7 missions. This included the free Starjacker quest in the vanilla game. Some of the quests went faster, especially if you chose certain outcomes. The Mantis quest was probably the longest and weirdest. Those of you who like stuff beyond just a fun experience will not be disappointed. This creation offers new outfits, gear, player homes, and even a ship. The voice acting was excellent as usual. The POIs included a mix of new locations and dressed-up vanilla locations. It was fun to see new destinations added to the vast settled systems. There aren't really any recurring activities in this creation, unlike others I've reviewed. In that sense, this is more of a set of one-shot experiences. Still, I thoroughly enjoyed the missions, and I think they'll be worth your investment. Thank you, Bethesda Game Studios, for your work, and thank you to all my subscribers. Please consider subscribing to show YouTube that you enjoy positive and honest Starfield content. In addition to videos, I also post to the community tab for this channel on a daily basis, or sometimes many times during the day, depending on what's happening. If you subscribe, you'll see these posts in your YouTube feed. Special thanks to all channel members. I hope you're enjoying our private Discord server and early access to these videos. If you'd like to know more about membership, click the join button on the channel. I use your contributions to pay for drives for capturing footage and to buy creations to review. If you made it to this part of the video, please leave a comment with the word bounty. Check out my other videos, and please tell your friends about the channel. Next, bonus gameplay spoilers. I'm going to share some footage from each of the 6 quests in this creation. In some cases, they will show alternate endings, in case you missed one. First, the Vulture.
You're pretty good, Tracker. Never thought I'd be bested by a bounty hunter. Maybe God is making an example of my hubris. If I were you, I'd take note of that.
Now, when I play quests, I always try to look for a non-violent solution. There's enough shooting as it is in Starfield. So when I have an opponent like Cephas Hughes here at the character's mercy, I try not to fight him. I want to save him, send him to the authorities, whatever. Well, it turns out this opens up a ton of more content. Well, maybe ton is an exaggeration, but if you let Cephas live here, you will see him again. Oh, I absolutely love this. So this is the character from the original Vulture. So if you just bought Vulture back when it was released in June 2024, this was the one mission that you got. Leaving Cephas alive means you will see him again, and I will include that in the spoilers for another mission.
All right, Tracker, you got me. Just promise you'll keep me out of Freestar custody. They'll want me cold the second I'm convicted.
One other note about this mission, you get the Arboron rifle. This is the one you'll see me using quite often in my regular gameplay. And you get the Vulture dustwear, which is the outfit that my character will be wearing for the rest of the missions. I think it looks pretty cool. Next, Return of the Starjacker.
I see you've managed to work your way in here despite our security measures. We'll let you in to talk, but it's gonna be on our terms, or it won't happen at all. Please remove all your equipment, including your weapon. You'll be allowed to have them back once we establish you're not a threat.
This is the part I was telling you earlier, where you have to take basically all your equipment off and stick it in that container. And if you don't do that, you're not allowed to progress the quest. They want to remove everything that you might have that could be a threat, apparently. This is a pretty cool game mechanic, I'm not going to lie. I don't actually like when my character loses all my stuff, but see, I tried removing some stuff and it wasn't enough. I had to go back and remove everything else. So this is the area where follow what Xeno Master, or I should say Ghost Rider 231, said about Xeno Master. And if you're having any issues, that'll take care of it. The other way to do this would just be to leave all your stuff in your ship. And as you can see, I have I have my full party with me. I have Vasco, I have Astrid and Lyria. I even have an NPC from Sammy that I added. And it turns out Sammy was okay with this particular part of the creation, but when we talk about doing the Widow quest, I'll show you later that that was a problem.
So, I regret to inform you, this isn't gonna go how you thought it was gonna go. Your consciousness is bombarded by powerful electromagnetic waves designed to scramble your brain, but only enough to knock you out for a bit. It's safe enough, I think. But I don't envy the headache you'll have when you wake up.
Amazing. Did you hear that? The tracker thinks they can bargain for you. I'll allow it.
Here's one of the ends of the quest. I say ends because there's more than one choice that you can make here. Here, I'm trying to use my standard method of bargaining or persuasion as opposed to having to fight everyone, because I just as soon take the prisoner or, you know, resolve this peacefully if possible. So I'm trying to use my persuasion skills here with Shell, who is a pirate captain, as you can see. And unfortunately, it's not going to work. There's just so many that you have to go through, and I almost made it, right? I've got one try left, and we're going to see if it works here, but I think I'm going to fail on this very next one. And there's Hannibal. He's trying to bargain with her as well. By the way, you get that tracksuit that Hannibal is wearing as one of the prizes for this completing this mission. So unfortunately, I just failed, and now we'll see what happens.
I've heard enough. That was pathetic. Kill the tracker.
As you see, I love having my NPCs do the fighting for me, especially when Vasco's got his flamethrower or whatever it is he's got there. He just goes in and causes mayhem. So basically, to conclude this one, you have to eliminate Shell, which is unfortunate. So let's take a look at an alternative ending.
I've seen what revenge can make people do. The fact that you're being calm about this almost worries me more. Ugh. Fine. Look, I don't want your kind of trouble. I'll give you Hannibal if you let me live. I've got a lot of work to do to pack up what we can and get out of here before you alert the authorities. Collect Hannibal and get out of my sight.
Rookie, you did it all without a drop of bloodshed. Well, except for the dozens of Chell's minions along the way, I presume.
Now, you can also make a choice about how you handle Hannibal, but I'll leave that for you to discover. Next, Seokguh Oni.
You really thought you could pull one of our guys off the street and no one would...
You know, Tracker, you've always been easy to ambush. Though to be fair, it's never really stopped you before. Well, sometimes dreams do come true. Your boss cut me a deal. I put my head on the line for the trackers, and I get an early parole. And while I'd love to catch up, this place is about to swarm with syndicate thugs. Best we ditch the well while we still can. Go ahead and take point. I've got your back.
Look at that, it's Cephas Hughes, the Vulture. If you let him live in the first Vulture mission, or it doesn't even have to be the first mission, but if you choose to do the Vulture first, and you have the option to let him live, he will be around for later missions. So that is one example. Now let's look at the end of this mission.
Well, you've compromised my main warehouse, turned my villa into a morgue, and now UC Security is doing a full sweep of New Atlantis. All in all, I'd say my operation here is pretty much screwed. So, as one last hurrah, I propose a duel. You and me, blades only. That, or you can shoot this out with my robot friends here. Your choice.
Now look at the options here. There are 2 to signal Cephas to either injure or kill Riku. And this is because you let him live. Cephas, that is.
Take this then. Try and pull any guns, and I have my bots here ready to mow you down. Your move, Tracker.
Take you a ball. That's how it's done.
Wasn't that fun? I had a good time at least.
So that wasn't too hard. My Crimson Fleet captain, who was one of my non-standard NPCs, jumped in there, I think, and sort of ended Mr. Riku pretty quickly. But let me show you another alternative ending.
What the hell are you pointing?
I signaled Cephas to shoot Rico in the leg. Must have used like a laser pointer or something that Cephas could see at distance. So now my party and I have to dispatch of Rico's robots, which doesn't take too long. I'm using my EM lightsaber. That's a mod that I created just to have fun with that. But yeah, once you talk to Riku, his situation looks a little messed up. Looks like he fused with a robot.
What the hell was that? You have a sniper? Huh? Wait, you just have some spook camping outside my house? Yeah, okay, jeez. Go right ahead. You know what? I don't even want to talk to you. I'm done. You win.
All right, so this is a cool little detail. I'm so glad that Bethesda did this. Once I took care of getting loot and all that stuff from Riku and his robots, I looked up into the mountain and I saw Cephas standing there, little blue outline. So I thought, oh, this would be the best if I could just jetpack up there and talk to him. So we're going to do that. We're going to see if Cephas has anything to say. Probably could have gone using the stairs or whatever, but eventually I made my way up there, and there's Cephas waiting like the hero.
I'll see you later, Tracker. It was nice hunting with you. Don't mind me. I'm gonna stick around for a bit. And I'll be sure to put in a good word for you next time I talk to your boss.
All right, now I had to return to the guy who gave me the bounty. This is heavy spoiler territory, so stop watching if you don't want to be spoiled.
The settled systems has a way of breaking people's spirits, especially the idealistic. Well, it helps that I've served this city for over 2 decades. In my experience, blood
Remember me, you old... Been waiting 20 years to put a bullet in you.
How great is that? And this isn't even the end because you have to decide how these two are going to deal with each other. Do you let them fight it out? Do you try to resolve it peacefully? I won't show you what I did, but you can probably guess. If you do resolve peacefully, Cephas lives once again. I would love to see him in a future creation. Next, I'll show you how I resolved the Lover's Quest.
Let's get him, love!
That's all. There didn't seem to be a peaceful way to resolve this one. Negotiation just looked like you were going to give in to their demand, so sorry, dudes. That was it. Next, the Fallen Hero, or the Mantis Quest. This is so trippy, I'm just going to show a little bit of it to give you a flavor.
Are the walls closing in? Fading away? Where do you think you are right now? Snap out of it. No physical damage. Mentally, the jury's still out. You know who you are? Any of this look familiar?
This quest was fun because there was so much weird stuff like this. I don't want to show all of it. This is just one example. There was other callbacks. This was just so much fun. It did have a lot of combat, which, you know, is not my favorite thing, but this was a really neat quest. Very creative.
I like the sound of that.
Okay, the last quest we'll talk about is the Widow. And I wanted to show you what it looks like if you're using a quest like Sammy that breaks the interaction with the computer that you need to use to progress the quest. So here I've just spoken with the lieutenant, gotten my marching orders. This is cool. This is, you know, a little bit of a murder mystery here. So I'm going to walk over to the body and I'm going to retrieve the 2 items on the body. And by virtue of having them, I should be able to interact with this computer. Maybe my character's neck is having an issue right there, turning to the left. But as you can see, I can't interact with this computer. I have the necessary equipment, but it is not working. So disable Sammy. So there are 2 main ways to resolve this quest. I'm going to show you how the lieutenant reacts if you essentially go in guns blazing and just eliminate everyone who opposes you.
No, thankfully, it was kept to inside the warehouse. But now that it's over, who knows where they are? And by doing that, you scattered her operatives like ants.
So not only is the lieutenant very upset with what you did, but you end up cutting out probably the best content in this particular mission, which I will show you next.
Excuse me, I need to follow up on a comment.
So if you choose to deal with the Widow via stealth, you get a chance to do a neat little mission where you have to disable 3 weapons within a certain time frame, which I did here.
Well, are we ready? Good work, Tracker. I'll signal to my men to get in position. I'll let the staff know to send out a fake emergency call, baiting Zia in. Ready? Here we go. Everyone, get up now!
This can't be happening!
And not only did we get this additional content in this really cool location in region headquarters, by the way, but then you have to deal with the Widow and her staff. And are you going to fight them, or can you convince them to go along with you peacefully? And so you can imagine what approach I took. Anyway, this is the extra content that I promised that you would have if you made certain choices. And that's why I called this video Missions with Consequences. I hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Richard, and I will see you in the Starfield.
Tracker, you take point on this. I'll trust your move here.
Why would I listen to you? But they'll feel it. They have to. What can you possibly know of anger? Stop trying to get in my head. I'll think of something. The Great Serpent will deliver us. Damn it! Lower your weapons! Surrender! We're finished.
What's going to happen now?
Widow, will the Great Serpent save us?
How did I fail?